The stars above New Bizen burned bright and peaceful on the night everything changed. The colony world had been humanity's pride for 30 years. 2 million people called it home. They had built cities between green mountains and blue oceans. Children played in parks. Families shared meals. Life was good. Then the Valkyrie came. Captain Park Dawn stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense, vessel resolute, when the distress signal reached him. His ship was 3 hours away from New Bizen, conducting routine patrol near the border. The message was broken and filled with screaming. He heard explosions. He heard people crying for help. Then he heard nothing at all. Full speed to New Bizen, Park Dawn ordered. His voice was calm, but his hands were shaking. Send word to Earth Command. Tell them we have an attack in progress. Lieutenant Yoon Sora worked at the communications station. She was young but skilled in alien languages. Her fingers moved fast across the controls. Captain, I am picking up Valkyrie military signals. They are not hiding their presence. They want everyone to know what they are doing. Park Dawn closed his eyes for a moment. The Valkyrie were an old species. They had ruled their section of the galaxy for thousands of years. They believed in power above all else. Weak species served them. Strong species joined them. Those who refused were destroyed. It was simple in their eyes. Humanity had refused to serve or join. For 50 years, the Valkyrie had watched Earth grow stronger. They had seen humans spread across dozens of worlds. They had noticed how other species began to respect these strange creatures from a small blue planet. The Valkyrie did not like what they saw. The Resolute arrived at New Bizen 3 hours too late. Park Dawn looked at the main screen and felt his heart break. The capital city was burning. Ships floated dead in orbit. The Valkyrie fleet was already gone. They had come, destroyed, and left. A message played on repeat from a Valkyrie beacon left behind. Let this be a lesson to the young ones, the recording said. Know your place in the galaxy. Serve the Valkyrie or suffer. Park Dawn turned to his crew. Many of them had tears in their eyes. Some had family on New Bizen. Begin rescue operations, he said quietly. Save everyone we can. They found 12,000 dead. 12,000 human beings killed in a single hour. Men, women, children. The Valkyrie had targeted civilian areas on purpose. They wanted to send a message. They wanted humanity to feel fear. On Earth, the news spread fast. People gathered in the streets. Some cried. Some screamed in anger. Many demanded war. The governments of Earth met in emergency session. For 3 days, they debated what to do. Ambassador Kang Ji-won watched the debates with tired eyes. She had served Earth in the Galactic Assembly for 15 years. She knew how other species saw humanity. Young, emotional, unpredictable. Some saw humans as future allies. Others saw them as future slaves. The Valkyrie clearly saw them as nothing more than targets. We must respond with force, said one leader. Show them we are not weak. If we attack, they will destroy us, said another. Their fleet is 10 times the size of ours. Then we do nothing? We let them kill our people? The arguments went back and forth. Ambassador Kang Ji-won waited for her turn to speak. When she finally stood, the room fell silent. I have a different suggestion, she said. We will respond, but not with weapons. Not yet. She explained her plan. Many thought she was crazy. Some thought she was a coward. But when the vote came, the majority supported her. Earth would speak first. Action would come later if needed. 1 week after the attack, Ambassador Kang Ji-won stood before the Galactic Assembly. Thousands of alien representatives filled the Great Hall. The Valkyrie delegation sat in their usual place, looking proud and unconcerned. High Commander Torval himself had come to watch. He wanted to see humanity beg for mercy. Ambassador Kang Ji-won walked to the central platform. She wore simple black clothes to honor the dead. Her face showed no fear, no anger, nothing but calm certainty. "Representatives of the galaxy," she began. "1 week ago, the Veltri Empire attacked our colony of New Bizen without warning or reason. 12,000 of our people are dead. Our cities burn. Our families mourn." She paused and looked directly at the Veltri delegation. "We did not come here to beg. We did not come here to threaten empty words. We came to deliver a message." The hall was completely silent. Even High Commander Torval leaned forward slightly. "The Veltri believe in a galaxy ruled by fear," Ambassador Kang continued. "They believe the strong take what they want and the weak must accept it. They believe humans are weak because we are young." She took a deep breath. "They are wrong." A slight murmur ran through the assembly. The Veltri representatives shifted in their seats. "Earth does not want war," Ambassador Kang said. "We have always sought peace. We have always offered friendship to all species willing to accept it. But we will not be victims. We will not watch our people die and do nothing." She raised her hand and pointed at the Veltri delegation. "This is our message to the Veltri Empire. You have made your first strike against humanity. Under Earth law, you are permitted 2 more. On your 3rd strike, we will end your civilization. Not defeat it. Not weaken it. End it. Completely. Permanently." Laughter erupted from the Veltri section. High Commander Torval stood, his tall gray body shaking with amusement. "You threaten us?" he said loudly. "A species that has existed for only a moment? Your fleet is nothing. Your worlds are few. You are insects making noise." Ambassador Kang Ji-won did not smile. She did not frown. She simply looked at him with eyes that held something cold and patient. "This is not a threat," she said. "This is a promise from Earth. We always keep our promises. Strike 2 more times and learn what that means." She turned and walked away from the platform. The hall exploded with noise. Some species laughed with the Veltri. Others sat quietly, watching the human ambassador leave. A few of the oldest species in the galaxy exchanged worried glances. They had seen young civilizations before. They had watched them rise and fall. But something about this one felt different. Captain Park Do-han watched the speech from his ship, still orbiting the ruins of New Bizen, when it ended. Lieutenant Yoon Sora turned to him. "Do you think they will listen?" she asked. Park Do-han looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Veltri were laughing at humanity. They thought the warning was a joke. They thought humans were too weak to back up their words. "No," he said quietly. "They will not listen. They will strike again. And then—" Park Do-han turned away from the window. His eyes were hard. "Then they will learn that humans always keep their promises." Far away on Earth, in a room that did not officially exist, military leaders gathered around a table. They opened files marked with the highest security clearance. The project had been running in secret for 60 years. No one outside that room knew what humanity had truly built. The file was called Protocol Omega, and it was almost ready. The Galactic Assembly met 3 days after the fall of the Veltri military. Representatives from every major species filled the Great Hall. They had come to judge humanity, to decide what should be done about this young species that had just done the impossible. Ambassador Kang Ji-won walked to the central platform. She looked older than she had a year ago. The weight of everything sat heavy on her shoulders. But her eyes were clear and her voice was steady. "Representatives of the galaxy," she began, "I stand before you as I did 1 year ago. Then I delivered a warning to the Veltri Empire. Today, I come to explain what happened and what comes next." Murmurs ran through the hall. Many species were afraid. If humanity could destroy the Velthari so easily, what would stop them from destroying others? 1 year ago, the Velthari attacked our colony of New Bizen. They killed 12,000 of our people. I came to this assembly, and I made a promise. 3 strikes. On the 3rd strike, we would end their civilization. She paused. Many of you laughed. The Velthari laughed loudest of all. You thought we were bluffing. You thought a young species could not possibly challenge an ancient empire. You were wrong. Ambassador Kang looked around the hall. The Velthari struck twice more. We gave them every chance to stop. We showed them what we knew about their defenses. We offered them a peace treaty. They rejected everything. They believed we were weak. They believed our words were empty. Her voice hardened. They were wrong. She activated a display showing the results of the operation. In 17 hours, we destroyed every Velthari military installation, every warship, every weapons factory, every command center. We captured their leaders. We dismantled their ability to make war. The Velthari military civilization is ended. Fear filled the hall. Species that had been neutral now worried they might be next. But we did not destroy their people, Ambassador Kang continued. We did not bomb their cities. We did not kill their civilians. We did not take their resources or their lands. The Velthari people remain. Their culture survives. Only their power to hurt others has been removed. She let that sink in. We promised to end their civilization. We kept our promise exactly as stated. No more, no less. That is what humanity does. We keep our promises. One representative, a being from a species known for aggressive expansion, stood up. You have shown that you can destroy anyone who opposes you. What is to stop you from conquering the galaxy? Ambassador Kang looked at him calmly. Nothing is stopping us. We have the power. We have proven that. But power without restraint is just violence. We do not want to conquer anyone. We never did. We wanted only to be left in peace. She took a step forward. Let me make something very clear. Humanity has no desire for empire. We have no wish to rule others. We will not attack any species that does not attack us first. But we will also not be victims. We will not watch our people die and do nothing. If you threaten us, we will warn you. If you continue to threaten us, we will stop you. This is not cruelty. This is simply how we are. Elder Zalith rose slowly from his seat. His ancient voice carried through the hall. I have watched the galaxy for 10,000 years. I have seen many species rise to power. Most use that power to dominate others. The humans are different. They had every chance to destroy the Velthari completely. They chose not to. They had every chance to expand their territory in the chaos. They chose not to. They did exactly what they said they would do, and nothing more. He turned to face the assembly. That is what makes them dangerous. Not their weapons. Not their fleets. Their word. When a human makes a promise, they keep it. The Velthari did not believe this. Now they know better. I suggest the rest of you learn from their example. The debate continued for many hours. Some species called for restrictions on humanity. Others argued that Earth had done nothing wrong. In the end, no action was taken against humanity. What could they do? The humans had followed their own rules exactly. They had warned the Velthari. They had given them chances. They had kept their promise precisely. There was no law against keeping promises. On the Velthari homeworld, life slowly began to return to normal. The human occupying force was small and stayed mostly invisible. They helped rebuild infrastructure. They provided food and medicine. They arrested military leaders but left ordinary citizens alone. High Commander Torval faced trial before a joint human galactic court. He was found guilty of crimes against humanity and sentenced to life imprisonment. He never stopped claiming that he had done nothing wrong, that the strong had the right to take from the weak. No one listened to him anymore. Something unexpected began to happen in the years that followed. Younger Velthari, those who had grown up during the occupation, began to see humans differently. They had expected cruelty. They had expected revenge. Instead, they found teachers, doctors, engineers who came to help their world rebuild. Captain Park Dahan returned to the Velthari homeworld 5 years after the war. He walked through streets that had once prepared for invasion. Children played in parks. Markets sold goods. Life continued. A young Velthari approached him. "You are Captain Park," the young one said. "The one who led the broadcast." "I am. Why did you not destroy us? You had the power. Our leaders would have destroyed you." Park Doan looked at the young Velthari for a long moment. "Because we are not your leaders. We never wanted to hurt anyone. We just wanted your leaders to believe us when we said stop. They did not believe, so we had to show them. But showing them did not require destroying innocent people." "I do not understand. Your people died. Many of them. Why would you not want revenge? Revenge would have meant killing children like you. Children who had nothing to do with what your leaders did. How would that make anything better?" The young Velthari thought about this for a long time. "You are strange creatures, humans." Park Doan smiled slightly. "Yes, we are." 10 years after the war, the Velthari people held their first free election. They chose leaders who promised peace, cooperation, and a new relationship with the galaxy. Former warriors became farmers. Former conquerors became traders. The Velthari discovered that there were other ways to be strong, and somehow they became one of humanity's closest allies. Ambassador Kang Ji-won was old when she gave her final speech to the Galactic Assembly. Her hair was white and her hands shook, but her voice still carried strength. "When I was young, I made a promise on behalf of humanity. It was a terrible promise. I hoped every day that we would never have to keep it. But the Velthari gave us no choice. We kept our word." She looked around the hall at species that had once feared humanity. Many now called themselves friends. "I want to make a new promise today. A better one. Humanity promises to stand with any species that seeks peace. We promise to help those who cannot help themselves. We promise to use our strength to protect, not to conquer." She smiled. "And as you know by now, humans always keep their promises." The assembly gave her a standing ovation. Later that night, Lieutenant Yoon Sora, now Admiral Yoon Sora, visited Ambassador Kang in her quarters. "You did well today," Sora said. "The galaxy finally understands us. Perhaps they just fear us. Sometimes it is hard to tell the difference. Does it matter?" Ambassador Kang thought about this. "I hope so. I hope that someday they will trust us because they believe in us, not because they are afraid of us. That is what I worked for all these years. Do you think we will see that day? Perhaps not me, but maybe you will. Maybe your children will." She looked out the window at the stars. "We showed the galaxy what humans are capable of when pushed. Now we must show them what we are capable of when welcomed. The second task is harder, but I believe we can do it. After all, we made a promise." On a small human colony at the edge of known space, children played in a park built on ground that had never known war. They knew nothing of the Velthari conflict except as history lessons. They knew only peace. A teacher watched them play. She was young, born after the war. She had never known the fear that once gripped humanity. But she knew the stories. She knew what her people had done and why. A child ran up to her. "Teacher, is it true that humans once destroyed an entire empire?" The teacher shook her head gently. "No, we stopped an empire from hurting people." "There is a difference." "What difference?" "Destroying something means taking it away forever. We did not take the Velthari away. We just took away their ability to hurt others. They still exist. They are even our friends now. The child thought about this. That sounds harder than just destroying them. It was, much harder. But it was the right thing to do. Why? The teacher smiled. Because we made a promise to be better. And humans always keep their promises. The child nodded as if this made perfect sense. Then she ran off to rejoin her friends. The teacher watched her go, thinking about all the promises that had been made and kept. Promises of war. Promises of peace. Promises of protection and hope. Dachi looked up at the stars, where ships from 100 species traveled freely, no longer afraid of being attacked for being weak. The galaxy had changed. Humanity had changed it. Not through conquest. Through something much more powerful, through keeping their word. And somewhere among those stars, the people of Earth continued their journey, building, growing, protecting, keeping their promises, one day at a time. That was enough. That was everything. 6 months passed after the attack on New Bizen. The Velthari continued their normal business in the galaxy. They traded, they conquered smaller species, they expanded their empire. The warning from Earth became a joke among them. Soldiers told stories about the tiny humans who thought they could threaten the mighty Velthari. High Commander Torval repeated Ambassador Kang's words at parties and laughed every time. But in the shadows, both sides were moving. Admiral Choi Hyun-soo sat in his office at Earth Defense Command. He was 60 years old with gray hair and a face marked by decades of service. He had fought in the border wars when humanity first expanded beyond their home system. He had seen death many times. He knew what war truly cost. On his desk sat 2 files. One contained the names of every person killed on New Bizen. He read it every morning. The other file contained information about the Velthari military. Their ships, their bases, their weaknesses. Earth had been studying them for years. Dr. Bae Yoonbi entered his office. She was 35, brilliant, and served as the chief strategic analyst for Earth Defense Command. Her job was to predict what enemies would do before they did it. "Admiral," she said, placing a tablet on his desk. "My team has finished our analysis. The Velthari will strike again within 90 days. Admiral Choi looked at the data. "You are certain?" "Their culture does not allow them to stop. Commander Torval needs to prove that his first attack was right. If he backs down now, he shows weakness. Other Velthari leaders would remove him from power. He must continue. What will they target? Something symbolic, but not heavily defended. They want an easy victory to show the galaxy that humans cannot protect themselves." Admiral Choi nodded slowly. "Our trade convoys." "Yes, specifically the convoy routes near the Velthari border. They will make it look like we were moving through disputed space. They will claim we provoked them." The Admiral stood and walked to the window. Outside, Earth spun slowly beneath the orbital station. Blue oceans, green lands, white clouds. "Home. Prepare our response," he said. "Not military. Not yet. We will follow the plan exactly." 62 days later, Dr. Bay's prediction came true. 5 human trade ships traveled through open space, far from any disputed territory. They carried food, medicine, and equipment to a colony that needed supplies. 800 people crewed the convoy. Merchants, pilots, engineers, and their families. The Velthari fleet appeared without warning. 20 warships surrounded the convoy in minutes. Captain Shin Yuna, commander of the lead trade ship, tried to send a distress signal. It was jammed. "Attention human vessels," a Velthari voice announced. "You have entered space claimed by the Velthari Empire. You will be destroyed as invaders." Captain Shin Yuna responded immediately. "We are in neutral space. Our route was approved by the Galactic Assembly. We carry only civilian supplies. The Velthari Empire does not recognize your claims. Prepare to die, insect." The attack lasted 4 minutes. The trade ships had no weapons, no defenses, no chance. When it was over, 5 ships drifted as burning wreckage. 800 people were dead. The Valkyrie broadcast the attack across every communication channel in the galaxy. They showed the destruction in detail. They wanted everyone to see that humanity was helpless against them. "Let this be a reminder," High Commander Torval announced in the broadcast. "The Valkyrie do not accept threats from lesser species." The humans made noise about consequences. Where are their consequences now? On Earth, people watched the broadcast in horror. The same anger from 6 months ago returned, stronger than before. Leaders demanded action. Military officers wanted permission to strike back. Admiral Choi Hyun-soo called an emergency meeting. "We will respond," he said to the gathered commanders. "But not with weapons." "Not yet. Admiral, they've killed over 12,000 of our people." One general shouted. "How long do we wait?" "Until the 3rd strike." "Those were our terms." "We do not break our word. Then what do we do?" Admiral Choi turned to Lieutenant Yoon Sora, who had been transferred to his command after New Bizen. "Lieutenant, are you ready?" Yoon Sora nodded. "Yes, Admiral. The message is prepared. Then proceed." 2 days later, a single Earth ship appeared in orbit above the Valkyrie homeworld. It was small, unarmed, and made no hostile moves. The Valkyrie defense fleet surrounded it immediately. "Weapons ready." "Identify yourself," the Valkyrie commander demanded. Lieutenant Yoon Sora's voice came through the communication system, speaking perfect Valkyrie. Her accent was flawless. Her words were chosen with care. "I am Lieutenant Yoon Sora of the Earth Defense Force. I bring a message from humanity to the Valkyrie people. You have 5 seconds to leave before we destroy you. Your leaders made a second strike against us. Under the terms given by Ambassador Kang Ji-won, you have 1 strike remaining. We urge you to choose peace. We urge you to stop." Laughter came through the communication channel. "You come here alone? To threaten us? You humans are truly insane." "I did not come to threaten. I came to show you something." The small Earth ship began broadcasting. Every screen on the Valkyrie homeworld flickered. Every military installation, every defense platform, every government building received the same transmission dot. It was a map, but not just any map. It was a perfect layout of the entire Valkyrie military system. Every base, every fleet position, every hidden weapons facility. Information that should have been impossible to obtain. The map showed weak points in their defense grid. It showed schedules for patrol ships. It showed the locations of the Valkyrie leaders' private bunkers. Then came the images. Detailed pictures of every major city on the Valkyrie homeworld. Every power station, every food distribution center, every critical piece of infrastructure. Each image was marked with precise coordinates. Lieutenant Yoon Sora spoke again. "This is Strike 2. You have 1 remaining. We know everything about you. We have known for years. We hoped we would never need to use this knowledge. Please do not make us use it." The broadcast ended. The small Earth ship turned and left. The Valkyrie defense fleet did not fire. They were too shocked to move. High Commander Torval watched from his command center, his gray face showing something it had never shown before. Doubt. "How?" he whispered. "How do they know all of this?" His advisors had no answer. That night, representatives from 12 other galactic species quietly ended their trade agreements with the Valkyrie Empire. They gave no explanation. They simply walked away. Elder Zaleth, an ancient being who had watched civilizations rise and fall for 10,000 years, made a note in his personal records. "The humans are interesting. They do not react like other young species. When attacked, most young civilizations either surrender or fight wildly. The humans do neither. They wait, they plan, they warn, It is almost like they want to give their enemy every chance to stop. I wonder if the Velthari are smart enough to take that chance. I suspect they are not. On Earth, Admiral Choi met with Ambassador Kang Ji-won. Will they stop? She asked. No, he replied. Dr. Bay's analysis is clear. Torval cannot back down now. If he does, his own people will remove him. He has no choice but to continue. Ambassador Kang looked out the window at the stars. Then we must prepare for what comes next. Protocol Omega is ready. It has been ready for years. We were just hoping we would never need it. I know. She turned to face him. When the third strike comes, there must be no hesitation. No second thoughts. We made a promise to the galaxy. If we do not keep it, our words will mean nothing forever. Admiral Choi nodded. I understand. When the time comes, we will do what we promised. Far away, on the Velthari homeworld, High Commander Torval stared at the map the humans had sent. He looked at his hidden bases now exposed. He looked at his defense weaknesses now revealed. He looked at his homeworld with targets marked on every critical location. For the first time in his long life, he felt something cold in his chest, but he was Velthari. He would not show fear. He would not back down. He would prove that the humans were nothing but insects making noise. He began planning the third strike. 3 months passed in heavy silence. The galaxy waited to see what would happen next. Trade slowed. Diplomatic meetings became tense. Everyone knew that something was coming. They just did not know when. On Earth, preparations continued in secret. General Moon Taijin arrived at Defense Command to lead ground forces planning. He was 55 years old, built like a mountain, and had spent his entire life protecting humanity. His job was simple: prepare for every possible situation. If the Velthari strike again, we must be ready to move immediately, he told his officers. There will be no time for second thoughts. No time for doubt. We made a promise. We will keep it. In a different building, Counselor Han Mireille worked on a harder problem. She led Earth's Ethics Council, a group created to make sure humanity did not lose itself in war. Her job was to make sure that whatever Earth did next was right, not just effective. We must be careful, she told the Council. If we go too far, we become what we fight against. If we do not go far enough, the Velthari will not stop. We must find the exact line. What is the exact line? Someone asked. Counselor Han thought for a long moment. We promised to end their civilization, not their people. There is a difference. A civilization is systems, structures, power. People are just people. We must remember that. While Earth prepared, Ambassador Kang Ji-won made one final attempt at peace. She requested a private meeting with High Commander Torval. To her surprise, he accepted. They met on a neutral station in open space, surrounded by witnesses from a dozen species. The galaxy wanted to see if war could be avoided. Ambassador Kang wore a simple clothes. Her face showed the weight of everything that had happened, but her eyes were steady. High Commander Torval stood tall and proud. His gray skin gleamed under the lights. He looked at the human woman like she was a small animal that had wandered into his path. You wanted to talk, he said. Talk. Ambassador Kang placed a document on the table between them. This is an offer of peace. Full peace. If you sign it, everything that has happened will be forgiven. The attacks on New Bizan and our convoy will be marked as closed matters. We will move forward together. Torval did not look at the document. And what do we give you in return? 3 things. First, a formal apology for the lives taken. Second, payment to the families of those killed. Third, a promise that you will never attack humanity again. Torval laughed. The sound echoed through the meeting hall. You want us to apologize? To pay? To promise? The Velthari do not apologize to insects. The Velthari do not pay for taking what is natural to take. And the Velthari do not make promises to species that exist only because we allow them to exist. Ambassador Kang did not react to his words. She simply watched him. "I am offering you a chance to stop," she said quietly. "This is your last chance. If you refuse, what comes next cannot be undone." "What comes next?" Torval leaned forward, his eyes burning with pride. "What comes next is the end of human arrogance. What comes next is your people learning their true place in the galaxy. What comes next is your complete and total submission to Velthari rule." He pushed the document off the table. "Go back to your small planet, human. Tell your leaders that the Velthari are coming. Tell them to prepare to kneel." Ambassador Kang stood slowly. She looked at Torval for a long moment. "I warned you," she said. "I gave you every chance. Remember that. When the end comes, remember that you chose this." She turned and walked away. The meeting was over. 1 week later, Elder Zelith requested a private meeting with Ambassador Kang. The ancient alien had watched the galaxy for 10,000 years. He had seen empires rise and fall. He had seen species destroy themselves and others. Very little surprised him anymore. They met in the garden on Earth, surrounded by flowers and trees. Elder Zalith moved slowly on his many legs, his body ancient and tired, but his mind still sharp. "I have observed humanity for 100 of your years," he said. "You are unlike other young species. Most young civilizations are loud. They boast. They threaten. They make promises they cannot keep. But you are different. How are we different?" Ambassador Kang asked. "You are quiet. You plan. You wait. You gave the Velthari warnings that were clear and simple. You showed them exactly what you know about them. You offered peace repeatedly. It is almost like you want them to stop. Like you do not want to do what you have promised." Ambassador Kang looked at the flowers around them. "We do not want this," she admitted. "We never wanted any of this. We wanted to join the galactic community in peace. We wanted to learn from older species and share what we have learned. The Velthari forced this upon us. And yet, you made a promise that will require terrible things to keep." "Yes." Elder Zalith was quiet for a moment. "I must ask you something. It is a question I have asked many species over the centuries. Most fail to answer honestly. Ask, do your people truly have the will to do what you have promised? Not the ability. I suspect you have abilities that would surprise even me. But the will, the willingness to carry through, even when it becomes hard. Even when the galaxy judges you. Even when your own hearts cry out to stop." Ambassador Kang turned to face the ancient being. Her eyes held something cold and certain. "Humans made a promise. We always keep our promises. That is both our greatest strength and our most terrible quality. When we say we will do something, we do it. Not because we want to. Not because it is easy. Because our word must mean something. If our word means nothing, then we are nothing." Elder Zalith studied her for a long time. "Then I will warn the others," he said finally. "I will tell them to prepare for something they have never seen before." "What will you tell them?" "I will tell them that the humans are about to show the galaxy what happens when a promise-keeping species is pushed too far. I will tell them to stay out of the way." 3 days later, the Velthari launched their third strike. The attack came at dawn on 3 human colony worlds simultaneously. Velthari war fleets appeared without warning and began their assault. Cities burned. Defense stations exploded. People ran for shelters that offered little protection. Captain Park Dawn received the alert on the Resolute. He read the reports with a face of stone. New settlements destroyed. Families torn apart. The death count rising by the minute. "How many?" he asked quietly. "Over 50,000 confirmed dead," Lieutenant Yoon Sora reported. Her voice was shaking. "The attacks are still ongoing." Park Doan closed his eyes. 50,000. Added to the 12,000 from New Bizen and the 800 from the convoy. Almost 63,000 human beings killed because the Valkyrie refused to believe that humanity meant what it said. His communicator activated. Admiral Choi Hyun-soo's face appeared on the screen. "Captain Park, it has begun." "I know, Admiral. What are your orders?" Admiral Choi's eyes were hard. His voice was steady. "Protocol Omega is now active. All units are moving to designated positions. The government has authorized full implementation. We will keep our promise." "Understood." "Captain, I want you to know something. What we do next will change everything. The galaxy will never see humanity the same way again. Some will fear us. Some will hate us. But they will all know that when humans make a promise, we keep it." Park Doan thought about New Bizen. He thought about the convoy. He thought about the 3 worlds burning right now. "They were warned," he said. "They chose not to listen. Yes, they were warned. And now they will learn." The channel closed. Park Doan turned to his crew. "Set course for Valkyrie space. Maximum speed. On Earth, across every colony, throughout the entire human territory, ships began to move. Hidden fleets emerged from concealed locations. Weapons that no one knew existed came online. Technology that humanity had kept secret for 60 years activated. The Valkyrie had laughed at human threats. They had mocked human warnings. They believed humanity was too weak, too young, too foolish to challenge them. They were about to discover how wrong they were. The promise was about to be kept. High Commander Torval stood in his command center, watching reports of his 3rd strike with satisfaction. 3 human worlds burned. Over 50,000 dead. His fleet had performed perfectly. The humans had barely put up a fight. "Send the broadcast," he ordered. "Let the galaxy see what happens to those who threaten the Valkyrie." The message went out on every channel. Images of destruction. Burning cities. Fleeing humans. Torval's voice boomed over the transmission. The humans spoke of consequences. The humans spoke of ending our civilization. Empty words from empty creatures. Look at them now. Look at their worlds burn. This is the true order of the galaxy. The strong rule. The weak obey. Humanity has learned its place. He smiled as the broadcast ended. Other species would see this. They would remember that the Valkyrie were not to be challenged. The natural order would continue. Then something strange happened. For exactly 1 hour, there was no response from Earth, no angry messages, no demands for talks, no military movements, nothing. Complete silence. Torval frowned. What are they doing? His advisors had no answer. They waited. The hour passed. Then every communication channel in the galaxy activated at once. A single human stood before the camera. Captain Park Doan, commander of the Resolute. Behind him, the bridge of his ship was visible. His crew worked at their stations with quiet efficiency. His face showed no anger, no hatred, only calm purpose. "Citizens of the galaxy," he began. 1 year ago, the Valkyrie Empire attacked our colony of New Bizen. 12,000 humans died. Our ambassador went before the Galactic Assembly and delivered a simple warning. 3 strikes. On the 3rd strike, we would end the Valkyrie civilization. He paused. 6 months later, they attacked our trade convoy. 800 humans died. We sent a messenger to their homeworld. We showed them what we knew about their defenses. We asked them to stop. They did not stop. Another pause. 3 days ago, they struck again. 3 worlds. 53,000 humans dead. Civilians. Children. Families who wanted only to live their lives in peace. Park Doan's eyes seemed to look directly at every viewer in the galaxy. The Velthari were warned. They were given every opportunity for peace. They chose war. As promised, Earth now responds. He straightened his uniform. This message serves as notice to all galactic civilizations. What follows is not aggression. It is not revenge. It is not cruelty. It is simply the fulfillment of a promise. Do not intervene. Do not interfere. This matter is between humanity and the Velthari alone. The broadcast ended. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the galaxy began to see what humanity had been hiding. Throughout Velthari space, ships appeared from nowhere. Not dozens, not hundreds, thousands. Earth's hidden fleet emerged from positions they had held in secret for decades. Ships of designs no one had ever seen. Technology that seemed impossible. On the Velthari homeworld, defense commanders stared at their screens in shock. Where did they come from? One shouted, "We had no warning. Our sensors show nothing. They are appearing from empty space." High Commander Torval pushed through his officers to reach the main display. What he saw made his blood freeze. Human ships surrounded his homeworld. More ships than the entire Velthari fleet combined. Ships that were larger, faster, and more heavily armed than anything he had ever imagined. "Impossible," he whispered. "They are a young species. They cannot have this." But they did. Admiral Choi Hyun-soo spoke from the lead ship of the human fleet. "High Commander Torval, this is Admiral Choi Hyun-soo of Earth's combined fleet. Your military installations are now targeted. Your defense grid has been disabled. Your communication systems are under our control. In approximately 10 minutes, we will begin systematic removal of all Velthari military capability. You cannot do this." Torval screamed into his communicator. "The Galactic Assembly will not allow it. The Galactic Assembly was informed of our intentions 1 year ago. They chose not to act. Neither will they act now. This is murder. This is genocide." Admiral Choi's voice remained calm. "No, High Commander. This is a promise being kept. We told you exactly what would happen. You did not believe us. That was your choice." Throughout the galaxy, representatives of other species watched in stunned silence. They saw human ships disable entire Velthari fleets without firing a shot. Some kind of technology simply turned off every weapon, every engine, every system on the Velthari vessels. Ships that had seemed invincible moments ago now drifted helpless in space. How? Elder Zaleth murmured from his observation post. How did they develop such things? He watched as human ground forces landed on Velthari military bases. There was fighting, but it was short. Human soldiers moved with perfect coordination, using weapons that no one had ever seen. They were not killing everyone they found. They were targeting specific systems, specific structures, specific leaders. They are surgeons, Elder Zaleth realized. They are removing the military like a doctor removes a disease. Careful, precise, leaving everything else untouched. On the Velthari homeworld, civilians cowered in their homes, waiting for death. They had been taught that defeated species were destroyed completely. That was the Velthari way. Surely the humans would do the same, but death did not come. Human ships passed over civilian areas without firing. Ground forces moved around populated centers, leaving ordinary Velthari untouched. They struck only military targets. Bases, weapons factories, command centers, warships. Everything that made the Velthari a military power was systematically eliminated. Dr. Bay Yumbi monitored the operation from Earth Command. All primary military installations neutralized, she reported. Secondary targets are being addressed. Civilian casualties remain at 0. 0? A junior officer asked in disbelief. How is that possible? Because we planned this for 60 years. Every target was studied. Every approach was calculated. We knew exactly what to hit and what to leave alone. General Moon Taijin led ground operations from his command ship. All units, remember your orders. Military targets only. Any soldier who harms a civilian will face court-martial. We are not here for revenge. We are here to end their ability to make war. Nothing more. Nothing less. His soldiers obeyed. They were not happy about it. Many had lost friends and family in the Valkyrie attacks. Many wanted blood. But they were professionals. They followed orders. They kept their promise to be precise. High Commander Torval was captured 17 hours into the operation. He was found hiding in his private bunker, the same bunker that human intelligence had mapped months ago. He had nowhere to run. Human soldiers brought him before Captain Park Dohon. You think you have won? Torval snarled. Other species will unite against you. You will be destroyed for this. Park Dohon looked at him with tired eyes. We did not want this, Commander. We gave you a year to stop. We offered peace. You rejected it. You killed our people. You laughed at our warnings. You called us insects. He stepped closer to the Valkyrie leader. We are not insects. We are humans. And when we make a promise, we keep it. Torval spat at him. You are murderers. No, we have killed only those who tried to stop us from protecting ourselves. Your civilian population is untouched. Your cities still stand. Your culture survives. We promise to end your civilization, not your species. The Valkyrie will continue to exist, but they will never threaten anyone again. Park Dohon turned and walked away, taken to the prisoner transport. He will face trial for his crimes. Across the galaxy, other species watched the final stages of the operation. In 17 hours, humanity had completely dismantled the military power that the Valkyrie had built over thousands of years. Every warship was captured or destroyed. Every weapons factory was demolished. Every military leader was arrested. And somehow, miraculously, hardly any civilians had died. The Valkyrie Empire, which had terrorized the galaxy for millennia, was finished as a military force. Not through genocide, not through cruelty, through precise, targeted action that removed exactly what needed to be removed and left everything else standing. Elder Zalith made a new entry in his records. I have watched many wars. I have seen many victories. I have never seen anything like this. The humans did exactly what they promised. Not more, not less. They ended the Valkyrie civilization as a military power. They kept the Valkyrie people alive. They were not cruel. They were not merciful. They were exact. And somehow, that is more terrifying than any cruelty could ever be. The promise had been kept. Now the galaxy would learn what that truly meant.